Oh, is it? Ah. Miners. Right. That's the same picture that we come in, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Many miners walk considerable distances to work. Some of them come in as far as local. What a hard life.
Hard life, hard work.
Yeah. I'll read it. Many miners walked considerable distances to work, some even coming as far as Moghold. That's up past where we went on them narrow lanes that time after we got the ice cream. On a dark winter's morning, a lantern was essential to light the way over the hills. Typically, a miner would have a candle fixed with a lump of clay to the front of his hat. So instead of having a camera on his hat, he had a lump of clay with a candle. Other candles were hung around his neck. There were no explosive gases in the Laxey mines. Yeah, he probably carried a pick or steel jumpers, spikes for splitting rock, and some form of explosive like gunpowder or dynamite. His lunch might be a sandwich wrapped up in a handkerchief. The men worked in gangs with one miner responsible for striking a bargain with the company for a patch of ore. He then paid the other men from what money he could get for the ore. Mr. Egbert Riddings of Laxey visited the workings here in 1872 and wrote, "The place was still after 2 hours' ventilation, hanging black with powder smoke. I found a great difficulty in breathing, and the perspiration was running down my body in streams. The most unwholesome, heavy and sickening smell arises in the bottom of the mines, an atmosphere of loathsomeness and powder fumes. The work was also dangerous and accidents were frequent. Bobby Kelly was a miner before the First World War. I remember the day I got hurt. This day I had a feeling I didn't want to go to work. Anyway, I went, but I weren't long at work till I was brought up in the dead box. I just went down in this hole when a lump of rock slipped off the hanging and fell and caught my leg. Well, I was off for months, and the captain of the mines come to see me, and he said, "You know, Robert," he said, "we can't give you no compensation, can't give you anything." Bloody hell. Oh Lord, you can just imagine that photograph. Look at him with beard. Bloody hell. You just imagine, can't you? Well, we can't really.
No, you can't really.
No.
When you think today, it's compensation.
Oh no, no, it's gone mad, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, telling you what these are, love.
Yeah.
Up there, that's a rod viaduct. The concrete piers of the viaduct spanning the river, usually called the rod duct, were built in 1930. Quite young then.
Oh.
To replace those washed away in a flood. The rod carries power from the wheel to the pumps that remove water from the mine. Wow. Overflow B. Up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, overflow, excess water from the cistern water tank supplying the wheel overflows into the river at this point. Four men, 18 months to dig. The water of the river leaves the tunnel just above the waterfall. Wow. So pretty. You've got a picture of that?
No.
You give us your jacket.
Oh, yeah.
You sure? In 1790, mining started.
Carry your hat.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
To put a hat on.
Oh yeah, alright. You putting your jacket on? Right, oh. Sorry. Sorry.
I take it none of you have been here before, no?
No.
This bit, no.
What you're seeing here, what happened was in the middle part of the 1700s, the English crown sent over, let's call them agents, to discover what the British islands would work in geological terms. Here they discovered lead, and subsequently sold a license to mine. Now, if you were the person that decided to take up this license, obviously you were taking a chance because nobody back in those days had the knowledge or technology to know how far or how rich the scene was going to be. On this occasion, from 1788 in this part here, right through to 1929, for the most part, for most of the years, it made money for the mine owner, not necessarily for the lads who actually did the work. This was just basically working to live. So, having said 1788, this entrance you can see here, that was added back in the 1960s because the original one, which is here, down the right-hand side, actually collapsed. So it's a make-safe situation, so you can actually go in and get a rough idea about what it must have felt like to be a nice miner. So it goes in 25 yards, you go in and come out the same way. Just to, as I say, a rough idea. At the 60-metre point, there's the top of the engine shaft. This was their access to lower levels, and dug down following the seam. As a consequence, it wasn't straight enough to incorporate a traditional cage lift. And it wasn't for 6 or 7 years before they could afford to purchase a device called a man engine. I don't know whether you're familiar with that, which one you get on, doors get off, wait for the return, on, off, on, off. So you can do that both ways, going up and going down. It goes 6 or 7 years, and bear in mind some of these miners have built it in a place called mackerel, which is 2 to 2.5 hour walk to get here for a 6 a.m. start. And they would go in here after walking that distance, and they'd climb down vertical ladders 1,500 feet to get to the lowest section. I'd have been knackered by the time I got here. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, if you're part of the team charged with working at the lowest level, even though it doesn't sound like very much in terms of the size of the earth, as you go down, there's a temperature increase because you're getting closer to the core of the earth, aren't you? They reckon 80 to 85 degrees at the almost 2,000 feet mark. Now, that's not enough to create steam. What it does create is absolutely intense humidity, especially in an enclosed space. Be like working in the tropics. They had no help from electricity, no help from pneumatics. working with heavy-duty hand tools. It's an 8-hour shift with 30-minute break for some kind of sustenance, after which they've then got to climb all the way back up again, which adds another 35, 45 minutes, depending on how long you rest, and a walk home for 2 hours. So if you were mine-ability and active, you're talking about 16 to 19-hour days, 6 days a week. And in view of that, people say, well, it's dangerous, it's difficult, it's labour-intensive, what we're paid. But it certainly wasn't salaried. It was piecemeal, depending on how lucky they were, how rich the scene was, how much they could bring out. But it's just telling this couple here that there is a word that describes it fully in the description, and that's the word pittance. Now, if you remember, the mine is referred to the mines, not just the mines back in the day, right up to the 70s. We called them pits. So whether there's a relationship right there.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
These lads back in the day were about 5'2", and this is the average dimensions of all the rest of the 20 miles of tunnel. They're all quite big, unlike the coal miners in Wales you see on their sides and 18 plus inches. So these lads being 5'2", 5'3", all they have to do is we're a bit taller than that, and popping in on inside. Can you watch your head on the walls and the rest of you watch your head on the ceiling?
Yeah, I'm only 5'1".
Ladies?
Right,
Thank you.
I've got my hard hat on.
I'd carry that if I was you.
Yeah.
Trying to bash their
Yeah, well.
levels, and they would take it to the bottom of the mine shaft. They'd rolling stock basically. Take it to the bottom of the mine shaft. They'd then transfer it into big buckets they called kibbles, and they were raised by a water-driven winch system. They were then transferred back into the pit, into the rolling stock, and taken down to the lower valley, which in those days was the washing floors, where it was all crushed, separated, and sent on for refining basically.
And how young were the workers?
Well, good point.
Down to 12 years, 14?
No, unlike the coal mines, unlike the mines rather in the UK, you could be 7 years old, 1,000 feet down in total darkness. Your job was opening and closing the draft doors. Some of these kids tied in place in case they tried to run away. So a very frightening experience. Here, I think in an effort to be more health-wise, you had to be 18. But actually it wasn't that much more healthy, because from the age of 12, they could work on the washing floors. Now, no such thing as rubber gloves in those days. Water that they used to literally wash away the residual, it becomes the medium by which that lead poisoning can be assimilated through the pores on the skin. So by the time they got here, they wouldn't know what time dinner was. It was bravery and necessity, and that I think applies to any mining, unless it's the gold mines.
And were ladies employed? Anywhere?
Weren't allowed past the here.
No, but
on the washing floors.
On the washing.
No roof over it either, had it? Open air in all weathers.
And it was in all weathers too.
Yeah.
I mean, the one advantage about the Isle of Man is we have the Gulf Stream going south-north around us. So the air and water temperature is always a couple more degrees. So we very rarely, if we do get snow, it doesn't stick around too long.
No.
And equally the same thing, when she started turning in 1854, she turned 24 hours a day right up to 1929, apart from the 5 or 6 occasions when the temperature did get cold enough that the rivers froze. Only 5 times in all those years. 5 or 6 times in all those years.
Just shows you, doesn't it?
Having said that, you try swimming in the sea, I guess you it's very, very cold anyway.
What was it like here in December with the storm? Was it Desmond?
Well, we don't open. We open weekends from the beginning of February. We're open Saturday and Sunday. What happened was all the path washed away, all the gravel gone.
Did it?
Back in the river basically. That next weekend they came along and they re-gravelled, they flattened it and re-gravelled the whole lot again. And the following weekend
they did it again. That's right. Boy, we had some rain, didn't we?
We did.
Oh yeah.
I mean, back in the 1930s, I think it was, they had a massive rainfall, not here, but up on the hillside. And that's the result. That section there's the result of that.
Wow.
The year before I started here, so 8 years ago, they had one of those storms, and a boulder came crashing across with a load of water there, hit the wall there, bounced, and that's a new hut. It absolutely demolished it. Just there it is, there's the rock. See the squarish one just there? That's the rock.
Wow. And I've just realised I've got the wrong glasses on. I've got my shades on.
I would be 14 in 1964.
You have your...
Okay.
You haven't got your others with you.
Anyway, that's it. No.
Sure.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Walk out into the valley. The problem is that the liquids. Okay, the next level down is what we do.
If you flash on.
Yeah. On your light.
Right, here's some photographs at Lintock, just inside the entrance to the mine. As you could hear there, hopefully you could hear the guy speaking. Those miners, they just work to live. You know, working a 16 to 19 hour day, 6 days a week. It just doesn't bear thinking about. You know, the life expectancy at that time, you know, were probably, I don't know, 20s, 30. Couldn't have been much more in those conditions with all that lead getting into your system, apart from the working in the dark and, you know, just horrendous. This is what gets me annoyed about people abusing health and safety laws at work. You know, ordinary people undermining what our, you know, forefathers fought for. Idiotic. Right, so there we are. Okay, back to the video. Oh dear, that's me carrying my cap. Yep. There's another one. Thank you. Thank you very much. This feels like I've got my hat on.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Better.
Don't fall in the bushes.
No. Ah, nice.
Look, 1 second.
No, I'm on view. That's a whole thingy idea. The trouble is, when you're in charge at camera, you're like Alfred Hitchcock. or is it me, Alfred Hitchcock? Because I've got the build.
Yeah.
The portly build.
Portly build.
Yeah. Across the bridge.